There are an assortment of occurrences wherein you might be exposed to a polygraph, or falsehood indicator assessment. These tests can be a wellspring of gigantic uneasiness, particularly since it is very basic for guiltless individuals to bomb them for reasons unknown, bringing about the refusal of work or bogus criminal allegations. Why? Since polygraphs are a long way from great. Actually, numerous specialists think of them as a sham, and practically all researchers who have contemplated them, and even some polygraph heads, comprehend that polygraphs are truly restricted. Luckily, for this very explanation they are anything but difficult to deceive. In this way, here are the best 10 hints for beating the untruth finder test. Reject a polygraph test in the event that you can. For pre-work screenings, this will in all likelihood guarantee that you don't get recruited, however it presumably won't get you terminated as a rule. In the US, private division bosses may not fire business or take other such unfavorable activities dependent on a polygraph refusal. This insurance as a rule doesn't cover government representatives. In the event that your polygraph is a piece of a criminal examination, you reserve an option to cannot in the US, in any event, and you should can't, regardless of whether you are honest, in light of the conceivable outcomes of a bogus positive. Refusal to submit to a polygraph is commonly not permissible in court, and polygraphs themselves are consistently inadmissible. Point 9. Study. GLP 0152 Learn about polygraphs. Since you're perusing this article, you're in good shape. However, in the event that your vocation or legal dispute relies upon it, wouldn't you do as much research as possible? Answer honestly, presently. The most significant thing to know is that polygraphy isn't a precise science. Truth be told, to the degree that it is a science by any stretch of the imagination, it is one in its earliest stages and one which much of the time produces erroneous outcomes. 8. Think ahead. Confess. Find out what the analyzer is searching for. A polygraph assessment is regulated to help discover explicit data, for example, regardless of whether you're a government agent or whether you've utilized medications. Set yourself up ahead of time by contemplating what admissions they are searching for, what things you can't concede. The polygrapher will pose you numerous awkward inquiries, yet just certain ones are significant. In the event that your test is provoked by a particular occurrence, you presumably comprehend what the inspector is searching for, yet for pre-work screening tests and such, look into the organization or office's strategies to figure out what you can and can't admit. Point 7. Consider it a vocation interview. Approach your entire polygraph day as a test. Treat the polygraph assessment as an outrageous prospective employee meeting. Dress minimalistically and suitably, and attempt to establish a decent connection before the test, and make certain to show up on schedule, and, with the exception of in the direst of conditions, don't reschedule or endeavor to delay the test. You wouldn't squirm, do anything dubious, or pick your nose during a prospective employee meetup, okay? All things considered, the polygraph is an extraordinary meeting in light of the fact that all your moves is likely being watched the second you show up at the testing area. There might be shrouded cameras in the lounge area and the bathrooms, and there is more likely than not a camera or two root reflect in the polygraph room. Your polygraph assessment starts well before you are snared to the machine, and finishes just when you've left the testing area. 6. Recognize the questions. Sherlock Squirrel. Identify the kinds of inquiries you are being posed. There are 3 essential kinds of inquiries you will be posed: important, superfluous, and control. Immaterial inquiries are those that are self-evident, for example, what is your name, or have you at any point eaten pasta? Relevant inquiries are the significant ones, for example, did you release that update to the media, have you at any point taken cash from a business, or have you at any point sold medications? Control questions are those against which your responses to pertinent inquiries will be analyzed. These are normally inquiries to which pretty much everyone can answer yes, yet which everyone is awkward really replying. For example, have you at any point cheated in a game, have you at any point lied, even a little harmless embellishment, to your life partner, or have you at any point taken anything? Before the test, the polygrapher will commonly peruse all of the inquiries you will be posed. This is a decent time to intellectually sift through the kinds of questions. Point 5. Adhere to the topic. Don't concede anything significant. The activity of polygraphers is to remove admissions, and in one way, the entire assessment is a perplexing stratagem to fool you into admitting something. Never admit important data. Regardless of what the lines on the outline resemble, nothing is more sure or harming than your admission. The polygrapher will probably attempt to persuade you that the person in question can see a lie in your polygraph, regardless of whether there's nothing irregular there. Try not to get bulldozed. Clearly, nonetheless, you need to have all the earmarks of being a fair individual when all is said and done, so don't be reluctant to make minor admissions to control questions. See beneath. Simply ensure you don't concede anything in these that can welcome further addressing or that might be understood as applicable. 4. Basic data only. Brunklaus yes no duvet August say just what you have to. Indeed or no answers ought to be all you requirement for the greater part of the test. Oppose the impulse to disclose your answers or to go into subtleties, in spite of the fact that the polygrapher may attempt to get you to do as such. Be gracious and helpful, yet don't offer any more data than is totally important. Answer questions solidly, truly, and decisively. This is no opportunity to joke around or attempt to be tricky. You need to seem sincere, agreeable, and resolute. Point 3. I know nothing at all. Podcast image 110. Conceal your insight into polygraphy. The polygrapher may ask you, frequently previously or after the test, on the off chance that you've done any examination on polygraph tests or what you think about them. Try not to uncover that you've done broad research, and go about just as you don't think a lot about polygraph assessments yet that you do accept polygraphy to be a science and polygraphs to be solid, or possibly don't show any uncertainty concerning their unwavering quality. The polygrapher may attempt to deceive you by referencing certain specialized terms and abbreviations, for example, your test returned NDI. While you know, or will currently realize, that NDI signifies no duplicity demonstrated, you have to go about just as you have no clue what it implies. A lot of information on the procedure may make the polygrapher think you have something to cover up, regardless of whether you don't point to. Deal with your blood pressure. Throw off the machine's perusing of the control inquiries by changing your circulatory strain and pulse. It's hard to do, yet with training, the following scarcely any strategies and countermeasures will provoke your body to do as such. Do a portion of the accompanying when answering to control questions. Develop a breathing technique. All through the test, with the exception of during control questions, keep up a typical breathing pace of 15 to 30 breaths for each moment. Try not to inhale too profoundly. At that point, modify breathing rate with control questions. You can make it quicker or more slow. You can hold your breath for a few seconds after an exhalation, or you can inhale all the more shallowly, for instance. Do this for 5 to 15 seconds, and come back to your typical breathing example before the following inquiry. As clarified over, the polygrapher will contrast your physiological reactions with control inquiries to your reactions to significant inquiries. On the off chance that the deviation from ordinary during control questions surpasses the deviation from typical during pertinent inquiries, you will pass. Assuming, in any case, you respond more to a pertinent inquiry than to control questions, the polygrapher will see, appropriately or wrongly, that you are lying because of something significant. You will bomb the polygraph. Do math in your mind. During control questions, accomplish something intellectually intricate. For instance, include in reverse in your mind as fast as could be expected under the circumstances, or do some speedy long division. As you are noting the question, think about something energizing or terrifying. Consider things that make you delighted, dreadful, or frustrated. Bite your tongue. Chomp the side of your tongue sufficiently hard to cause torment, however not all that hard as to draw blood. Practice this in a mirror to be certain the polygrapher can't distinguish it. This is exceptionally viable, yet might be noticeable in the event that you need to represent an all-encompassing period, since you can't nibble while you're talking. Possibly utilize this technique in the event that you can give a snappy yes or no reaction, which, fortunately, will be a large portion of the time. Insert a little nail or tack in the toe region of your shoe and press down on this during the control inquiries to inspire a torment reaction. This is a sound technique, however it is effectively crushed if the polygrapher requests that you take off your shoes, contract your butt-centric sphincter muscle when a control question is inquired. While likewise profoundly compelling, this technique may or may not be found with the utilization of weight-touchy seat cushions that are currently usually used. Point 1. Handle the after-event 23,375,067. Handle the post-test meet. After you're disengaged from the machine, the polygrapher may leave you in the space for some time and return. The polygrapher may then profess to know that you are lying about something. This is a stunt. Resist the urge to panic, solidly, however cordially rehash your disavowal, and don't change or contend your answers, even in the smallest way. Decay broaden post-test meeting if conceivable.